Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bonaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Peace Peace Peace. Om Bolo Sadguru Sivananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Bolo Swami Vishnu Devananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Maybe if I restart?
Maybe, or the other thing I was thinking, if you do Windows plus P, that should bring up, there it is. Now click duplicate. Okay, now, no. Okay, let's unplug that. And now just go on USBs. Okay. We want it on duplicate. Check.
Maybe if I restart?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, sometimes on the, I know on Macs that's usually a good strategy.
Om Namah Shivaya. So, we've been discussing in the last few workshops and satsangs the Narada Bhakti Sutra. And after explaining all the theory about what is bhakti and what are the benefits of bhakti, we landed on the chapter which deals with the fruits of bhakti, how to cultivate devotion, about the sadhana. And in the context of the sadhana, we mentioned 9 practices, 9 modes. And we started with describing the first one, which is Shravanam, listening to stories. So in the last workshop, we told the story about baby Krishna and how he was not happy that his mother had to put him aside when she was breastfeeding him. So then he made all these tricks, and then she wanted to tie him with the rope. And because of this, until this day, he's called Damodara. And so this is the Shravanam. Then the Kirtanam, if you remember, we sang, after we told the story, we sang the song, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti. So then when you hear the word Damodara, which is the name of Krishna, you remember this story about how she tried to tie him. So Shravanam is listening to stories. Kirtanam is singing the names of God. Then what I wanted to do today is to talk about Smaranam, which is the constant remembrance. It's okay. We'll just do without. Yeah. So the smaranam is constantly remembering God. But how is it doable? How can we constantly remember God? For this, we have the practice of japa. And japa is considered to be the most important practice. In fact, this morning we had mantra initiation. So some people from the teacher training course and from the staff, and even we invited the guest to learn about the mantras and to choose a personal mantra. How many here have gone through this process and have chosen a personal mantra? 1, 2, 3. With Sivananda or other outside of Sivananda? Sivananda? Yes. Yes. Okay. So it's highly recommended to select a personal mantra for your practice of japa and to use this mantra when you meditate. And even more so is very recommended to take mantra initiation like we had this morning. So here in the ashram we do it once a month, usually in the last week of the teacher training course. So if you happen to be in the ashram, even if you're not in the course, but you're on vacation, you can request to join the mantra initiation. But in order to do it, you need to get some preparation. So in the preparation, what we do is we describe 12 mantras that we use in Sivananda, and we initiate people in these 12 mantras. And of course, there are many more mantras, more than 12. But these are the 12 that we are teaching here. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about them, and with the hope that you will consider deepening your knowledge about mantras and taking a mantra. So the idea is that we have we cannot use the slides. Okay. Out of the 12, 10 mantras are considered saguna. Saguna means, guna means quality, sa with qualities, with attributes. And 2 are nirguna, without qualities, without attributes, or in other words, abstract. So the ones that are abstract, I will mention them, but I will explain later. One is Om, the mantra Om, and the other one is Soham, Soham. And we call them abstract because they relate to God in as a formless, abstract, no image, no qualities, no characteristics, nothing that you can say, completely abstract. And so the nirguna, some people are drawn to the nirguna mantras because they are not relating to the deities, to any of the deities. They're not relating to pictures. It's difficult for them to accept that God is represented in a picture or in an image or in a form. So some people, they take the nirguna mantras, but also you have to understand that they are more difficult. It's more difficult to meditate on God without a form. And especially in the path of bhakti, that we're supposed to love God, worship God, pray to God, and if God doesn't have a form, doesn't have a name, then what am I supposed to meditate on? I remember one time we had a singer here from Hare Krishna, and of course they don't accept this formless God, Brahman, that we are here in Vedanta. The main thing is that God really is formless and abstract. So this singer said, I don't understand your philosophy at all. He said, let's say I have a girlfriend, and I'm supposed to love her, but she doesn't have a form, she doesn't have a name, she doesn't have qualities, no characteristics, no nothing. Like, what am I supposed to love? So there, of course, there is a point to this. It's much more difficult to love the abstract, formless, transcendental consciousness. Therefore, we have the deities that are called saguna mantras with qualities. And among the deities that are saguna, this Ishvara, God, is Brahman with characteristics, with qualities. In Sivananda, we have 3 mantras that are feminine, the feminine aspect of God, and 7 that are masculine. Because God is both a mother and father, and so the masculine ones, we usually start with Ganesha. Ganesha is always mentioned first, invoked first, even in our daily chants, right? Jaya Ganesha, and even in the Arati. Jaya Jaya Arati, Vigna Vignayaka. This is also Ganesha. We always invoke Ganesha first because he removes the obstacles. So first thing, you want to remove the obstacles. So the mantra for Ganesha is Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. So let's try it together. First we break it and then we do it together. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Now we chant it. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 So, before I proceed to teach you more mantras, I want to explain something. A mantra has 6 parts. One is the deity. So, in this case, the deity is Ganesha, the elephant-headed god. And just like elephant removes the obstacles, clear the path, similarly Ganesha is the remover of obstacles. So the deity here is Ganesha. Then there is the meter, how we chant the mantra. And it has to be accurate. So the meter is Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. You see, it's not exactly like the melody. In the kirtan, we do melody with instruments and rhythm. It's not like kirtan, but still there must be some inflection of the voice. And for example, Om Namah Shivaya, or Om Namo Narayanaya. So there is a little small melody. It's called the meter. So the deity is Ganesha. The meter is what we just chanted. Then there is the Rishi. Rishi is the saint, the seer, the yogi who revealed this mantra to humanity. For example, some of you heard about the Gayatri mantra. Om Bhurbhuvasva Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. It's a long mantra and very famous. The Rishi who revealed it to humanity is called Vishvamitra. So every mantra was revealed by a Rishi. Gayatri, by the way, is not among the 12 that I will teach you. We don't initiate in the mantra initiation to Gayatri, but those who take brahmacharya, the vow of celibacy, and they wear yellow and they become Chaitanya, they take Gayatri mantra, in addition to their personal mantra. And then Swamis, they take even more mantras when they become Swamis. So there is always your personal mantra, which is called the Guru mantra. is always remaining the same. You're not supposed to change it. And it's always remaining with you, even if you take more initiations like brahmacharya and sannyasa. In brahmacharya, we take the Gayatri mantra. In sannyasa, they drop the Gayatri mantra and they take other mantras. So there is the deity, there is the meter, and there is the rishi. Then the next thing is there is the bija. Bija means seed. And here in this mantra that we just chanted, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, the bija is a one-syllable mantra that is very potent, very powerful. In this case is Gam. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. For example, you can take other mantras for Saraswati. Here is Saraswati. Om Aim Saraswatiye Namaha. Aim is the bija of Saraswati. It's a very potent syllable that is one syllable that is important in the mantra. Then there is the Shakti, the energy of the mantra, and they say with many repetitions. Let's say this morning you went to the mantra initiation and Swami Brahmananda initiated you to this Ganesha mantra. So in the initiation, I happened to be there. He said to every group, now after you receive the mantra, please prostrate in front of the altar and find a quiet place in the ashram and sit for 20 minutes and meditate with the mantra that you just received. Very important. You just received in the initiation and you go for 20 minutes and you practice. But after these 20 minutes, the idea is that you use this mantra all day long. I mean, as much as possible. And of course, when you meditate. So that's why last time I brought all the accessories. Now I only have the big mala. But the japa mala, that is the rosary, you can, I highly recommend that you get your rosary. There are different kinds of beads. There is this is sandalwood, so it's very recommended for Vishnu mantra, Krishna, even Divine Mother. Sandalwood is very nice. It also has a very nice smell. And there is also red sandalwood, and there is the pearl for Divine Mother, and the crystal, and of course the Rudraksha for Shiva. Yeah, I see some of you have. And then this is also a very recommended accessory for japa. It's called a mala bag. They also have it in the boutique, and it's very helpful because you wear it on your neck. And there is one wide opening on one side and then a small opening on the other side. This small opening is for the index finger, which we're not supposed to use in the japa. So we take it out. And the hand goes in the big opening. And inside the bag, what you do is you just roll the beads. You roll the beads towards your heart, not against your heart. Not using the index finger, only the thumb and the middle finger. So the japa mala, mala is rosary, this is japa mala. You put it on your middle finger and you roll the beads with your thumb towards the heart, not against the heart. And there are 108 beads, so after 108 repetitions, you hit this big bead in the top, which also is tied to a string. And this means that you finished your 108 repetitions. This extra one is called the Meru and is also called the Guru because you represent the Guru. So out of respect, you're not supposed to cross over. And therefore, what you do when you reach the Meru, you flip to the other side and you go now to the other side. So this is extremely important for all yogis. You know, in addition to your yoga mat and your meditation cushion, you really need to have this and this. And so so what I was talking about, the Shakti, the energy of the mantra. What happened, even if you don't take mantra initiation, but you repeat every day 10 malas, 20 malas, 30 malas, 1,000 malas in the month, you count and you repeat the number of the repetitions. After some time, from the constant repetition, the Shakti, the energy of the mantra, will take you to the deity which is connected to the mantra. So Ganesha, for example, if you do millions of repetitions of the Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, eventually this practice will unite you with Ganesha. Or if you do millions of Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, the yogis are saying the Shakti will take you to union with your deity. And then finally, there is another aspect of the mantra which is called Kilaka. And Kilaka is like the plug when you have a bottle and the bottle has a plug, what do you call it, a seal, and you release it, whatever is contained in the bottle is released. So the Kilaka is you remove the seal, and the consciousness, the Chaitanya, the pure consciousness that is contained in the mantra is released. So so I think I mentioned the six, the Rishi, the saint, the Bija, the seed, the deity, the meter, the Shakti, and the Kilaka. Okay? So these are the 6 parts of the mantra. And another thing, before we continue with explaining about each mantra, mantra is a sacred sound. And there are 4 ways how, or 4 levels of sound. The first level is the vocal, verbal level, like I say Om. Okay, with my vocal cords, you can hear it with your ears. This is called Vaikari. Vaikari is the level of vocal. Then there is the mental repetition. When I don't use my vocal cords, I don't use my tongue, I just mentally say Om in my head. So this is mental. The more you do it, the repetition becomes very, very subtle, and it becomes at the level of telepathy. It's called the telepathic level. And that is a more subtle, deeper level. For example, what is telepathy? Let's say I want to send a thought to you, but I do it in telepathy. So let's say I want to just send you a word, water. But let's say you don't speak English, you speak another language. Still, you get the meaning. In telepathy, it doesn't matter which language you use, the other person gets it. So this is the telepathic level that is beyond words. And finally, there is the transcendental level, which is called para, supreme. And so at that level, there is no more mantra, no more sound, no more words. It's just the silence. So the idea is mantra starts with sound and ends with silence. The mantra takes you from the Vaikari level to the mental level, to the telepathic level, and to the supreme level, which is beyond sound. Okay? So just to recap, 6 parts of mantra and 4 levels of sound. It's good that I remember all of this because we don't have the presentation. So now with this understanding, I want to give you one more thing, and then I will resume the discussion on the mantras. There are 3 definitions to what is mantra. One is coming from the Upanishads. Manana trayate iti mantraha. That which protects the mind is mantra. That which protects the mind is mantra. So mantra literally protects your mind. From what? From all the desires, all the negative emotions, all the thoughts that are coming from within your own mind, but also from outside, from your environment. So, here on the altar, we have an oil lamp. He found the perfect slide. Yes, that which protects the mind is mantra. Thank you. So you see, we have an oil lamp on the altar. Now it's not lit, but usually in the satsanga we lit the lamp. But before we had this house for the lamp, always the wind will extinguish the flame. So sometimes they just put like a glass shield around. Now this is more sophisticated. I haven't seen it before I came this time. It's new. So they built this house, and now the flame is protected from the winds. Similarly, the mind of the yogi, instead of being so affected by the desires and the thoughts and the attachments and the negative emotions, the mantra protects. And so, for example, myself, if I'm finding myself in a situation where my mind starts to be negative for some reason, I start to repeat my mantra. Whatever, let's say Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. It's not my mantra, but just for the sake of the story. And then, even if my mind is perfectly positive, but I'm finding myself surrounded by negative people or some kind of negative energy, then again I start to repeat my mantra. And it protects. It protects. So that's why the yogis say, repeat your mantra all day long and you are safe. So that's the first definition. The other one is more scientific, you can say. Mantra is mystical energy encased in a sound structure. So the divine, let's say Shiva. Shiva is the transcendental, most auspicious being, the supreme being. You take this energy of Shiva and you put it in a sound structure. Then it's called Om Namah Shivaya. So the energy of Shiva is in a sound structure, is Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Therefore, it's not just like, see, this thing is a book. So you give it a name book, but it's in other languages another thing. It's not so, it's kind of arbitrary in many ways. But Om Namah Shivaya is not just the name of Shiva, it is Shiva. Om is not just the name of God, Om is God in a sound structure. And then the last definition of mantra is very simple. It's just the name of God. So that's very easy. Now, there are 3 types of mantras. The bija mantras, we don't use them. We don't practice them. It requires a qualified, trained teacher who knows what he or she is doing to work with the bija mantras. Bija mantras are short syllables like hum, gum, shrim, lam, ham, shri, klim, rim. So some people, they know how to work with bija mantras, but it can be dangerous. It's related to the chakras. It's related to the kundalini. Every chakra is connected with the bija mantra, and it's more belonging to the science of tantra and kundalini. And we are not teaching it here. We are not qualified to teach it, but just for your knowledge, there is something which is called bija mantra. Then the other 2 types are the nirguna abstract mantras like Om and Soham, and the Saguna, the deity mantras. So this we already explained. Now, how to choose your personal mantra, if in case you haven't chosen yet. 3 methods: form, sound, and meaning. Form is if you're attracted to a certain image. Like, let's say you see Hanuman here on the wall and you just love this image more than all the other images. Or you see Lakshmi, Mother Lakshmi over there, and you're drawn to this form. So then probably Lakshmi is your mother, your chosen deity, because from past life you have some memories that you're drawn to this image. The next method is attraction to the sound. So you go to satsang, and every day we sing Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, or we sing Om Namo Narayanaya, or Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and you catch one of these mantras, and somehow it feels better than the others. Like familiar, or you find yourself keep singing it. That is attraction to the sound. You don't even know why. And then the last method is attraction to the temperament or the qualities or the personality of the deity. So soon I will describe to you the deities, but Ganesha is this nice chubby elephant who is removing the obstacles. And Durga is the kind of more fierce mother, but she protects. She's very kind, but she's also destroying all the enemies. And Krishna is representing love and joy and playing the flute. So somehow you learn about their personalities and their temperament, and one you're more drawn than the others. Now it's very important not to choose a deity because you want to become something. Like, let's say I'm lacking joy, I should choose Krishna to bring more joy to my life. That's not the method. The method is whatever you're drawn to, whether it's the auspiciousness of Shiva or the playfulness of Krishna. That is how to choose. So 3 methods to choose your personal mantra. And ideally, all 3 of them will take you to the same one. Usually it's not the case. Usually people come to us and say, I like both Krishna and Shiva. And then we have to help them to choose. So the masculine mantras, we started with Ganesha, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, and we already explained. The next one is Om Namah Shivaya. Together. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya. So Shiva is the yogi. Many yogis, they choose Shiva. The most important holiday for the yogis is Shivaratri. It's in February. It's a whole night chanting to Shiva. And he is always in meditation, he's always in samadhi, and he likes seclusion, he likes solitude, he likes the practice, the sadhana, but he's also the most compassionate one. And all the beings that nobody wants in society, he accepts. He accepts everyone. He's the most compassionate one. There are many symbolism. The trident that he's holding in his hands represent the 3 gunas which he overcome nature because he's in a state of transcendence. And the snakes around his neck because he's overcoming all the lower tendencies. And malas around his neck because he's a yogi. He's doing a lot of japa. So the next masculine one on the list is Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Narayanaya. this is Lord Vishnu, and his name is also Narayana. So in the Trinity, in Hinduism, there is Ishvara, who is the Supreme Being, the Lord. And when he creates the creation, he is called Lord Brahma. When he protects, sustains, preserves the creation, he is called Lord Vishnu or Narayana. And when he dissolves and destroys the creation, he is called Shiva. So Shiva is not a destroyer, really. He's just dissolving the falsehood and the impurities. But Vishnu, Narayana, he's protecting, he's sustaining, he holds this creation. And therefore his mantra, Om Namo Narayanaya, is used for world peace. That's why we chant it almost every day, for world peace. So people who choose this mantra, usually they're more active in the world. As opposed to Shiva, they just want to be in the cave. Vishnu, they want to help humanity, serve, help, take care of the creation. This was the personal mantra of Swami Vishnu Devananda, our founder. And he was a peace activist, a peace pilot, really very much focused on taking care of humanity and the creation. Now Vishnu, because he's the sustainer of this creation, every once in a while he needs to incarnate in a form on earth. Normally Vishnu is in Vaikuntha, in the transcendental place. But when there is decline in dharma, in righteousness, and rise in adharma, unrighteousness, he has to come in a form to protect the good people and to destroy the demons. So this, what I just said, is a quote from the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Whenever there is a decline in righteousness and rise in unrighteousness, then I manifest myself, O Arjuna. These are the words of Krishna. So one of the famous incarnations or avatars of Lord Vishnu is Lord Rama. And this is his mantra. Om Shri Ramaya Namaha. Together. Om Shri Ramaya Namaha. Om Shri Ramaya Namaha. Om Shri Ramaya Namaha. So Rama is considered to be the perfect king, the perfect son to his parents, the perfect husband to his wife Sita, the perfect brother to his brothers Lakshmana and Bharata, the perfect father to his children. Basically, he's the perfect human being. And because he's a householder and very loyal to his wife and not wanting any other wives, etc., many times this mantra is chosen by householders who are wanting to be yogis in the world and in a household environment. But also non-householders, swamis, they also take Rama. There is one famous Swami, Swami Rama, an amazing bhakta in India. And he was using a Rama mantra, but not this one, another one. There's another one, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. We use this one, but there's another one. So this is Rama. And he was the 7th avatar of Vishnu. The 8th avatar of Vishnu, everyone knows, Lord Krishna. So we'll chant his mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Together. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. One thing I need to say, that when we chant the kirtan in the satsang, there is a line, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Many people make a small mistake and they sing Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So it's not Vasu, it's Vasudevaya. Very important. You see there is a line on top of the A, which means a prolonged A. Now, why is so important? Because Vasu with short A, Vasudeva, was the father of Krishna. His father was called Vasudeva. But the son is called Vasudeva with long A. So when we chant, it's important. We don't chant to the father. In this case, we chant to Lord Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And also Vasudeva means the innermost, subtlemost self, the Atman. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna, Aham Atma Gudakesha. I am the self, oh Gudakesha, seated in the hearts of all beings. So Krishna, he appears to be this beautiful boy with the flute, but really he's the Atman. And also Krishna means the most adorable, irresistible, all-attractor one, because he's the bliss of the self. And people choose this mantra because they are drawn to his playfulness. He's a little naughty, mischievous, but very playful, very joyful, very loving. And I remember in the temple here we have a shrine called Balakrishna Shrine. Bala means child. So Swami Srupananda, our Acharya, one day he said, Balakrishna needs to come to the ashram. We need this energy of playfulness and joy in the ashram. So he told there were a few priests at that time that were in charge to bring the murti from India and to build the shrine. And when the shipment came, the murti was not Balakrishna, because it's very difficult to find a baby Krishna murti. Murti is a statue. Very difficult to find. So they actually brought this one, the Murali Krishna. Murali means the flute. So Murali Krishna, here Krishna, when he was playing the flute with Radha and the gopis, he was 11 years old. And Radha was 12. He was already like a youth. But Swamiji wanted baby Krishna, Balakrishna, the one who is stealing the butter and the yogurt and breaking the pots and playing with the monkeys. This energy Swamiji wanted. So he told the priest, no, this was not what, of course we keep, when we do puja to Murali Krishna, of course. Also this is Murali Krishna, this picture was on the altar of Swami Sivananda. This one, and this one. So it's very important. But at that particular time, he wanted baby Krishna. So the priest, they couldn't find any murti in India, so they had to ask an artist to make one for us. And then after a few months, it came in the shipment, and then we inaugurated the Balakrishna shrine, because he wanted baby Krishna. He wanted this energy of the playfulness. So some people are very much drawn to Krishna. It's a very popular deity. And then Hanuman. Some people are just in love with Hanuman. You can see Hanuman also here. And his mantra is Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Together. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. Om Ham Hanumate Namaha. So what is the bija here? What is the seed? Ham. The one syllable Ham. And Hanuman is people who choose Hanuman, they are drawn to his utmost sense of service and devotion, karma yoga and bhakti yoga, because he is the most devoted servant of Lord Rama. And so he represents the service and devotion. Then the last one in the list of masculine mantras is the Maha Mantra. Maha means great. Maha Mantra, the great mantra. It's called great, not because it's so long, but because it's the mantra that in the Upanishad it says for this Kali Yuga, for this dark age, this mantra is going to take us to salvation. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So some people now in the Kirtan world, they break it into half. First they do the Hare Rama and then they chant the Hare Krishna. But really you're not supposed to break any mantra. So there are 16 words and you're supposed to chant all 16 in one time. So let's do it together. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So, I think it's not easy. People who choose this mantra, when you do your japa, it's long, it's 16 words. You know, Om is one syllable. Om, you can finish one mala in, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. But with this Maha Mantra, how long it takes to do one mala? I think in the Hare Krishna, they take vows to do 16 malas a day of this mantra. I think it takes like 2 hours or something. I'm not sure. But also in Hare Krishna, they changed. Lord Chaitanya changed the order and they do Hare Krishna first. But the original one is Hare Rama first. So we do the original one. Also, originally, the mantra Om was there. Om Hare Rama, Hare Rama. But the Om was dropped. It's a long story. Lord Chaitanya wanted this mantra to be available to all castes, all people. And Om was, not everybody could do Om. So he dropped the Om and he changed the order and he put the Krishna first. But we keep the Hare Rama first. And this is a very devotional mantra. So like Krishna, it's very bhakti mantra. But also it's a mantra for world peace. So in the Sivananda ashram in Rishikesh in India, in the early 1940s, I think in 1941 or 43, when Swami Sivananda started to receive the news about what was happening in Europe in World War II, about the Holocaust, he was very shocked by the news, and he said to his disciples that you should chant this mantra all day long. It's called Akhanda Kirtan, ongoing chanting, non-stop, 24/7. Of course, one person cannot do it 24/7. So in Akhanda Kirtan, we take turns. And one sits in front of the altar and chant for 1 hour. And then the next person comes and take over. And so in Sivananda Ashram in Rishikesh, they do Akhanda Kirtan, 24/7 chanting of this Maha Mantra since 1941, non-stop. So it's been, more than 80 years. Very powerful. Now, God is not just a father, God is also a mother in the Hindu Vedic tradition. And the first feminine mantra is Om Shri Durgaye Namaha. There is another version, Om Dum Durgaye Namaha, with the bija Dum. But out of these two options, here the one that was chosen is this one, with Shri. So I don't know exactly why, but Dum is the bija for Durga. Shri is a way to honor, like Shri Devi is honoring. So we chant together. Om Shri Durgaye Namaha. Om Shri Durgaye Namaha. Om Shri Durgaye Namaha. So we talked about the Trinity. Ishvara, the Lord, when he creates, he's called Brahma. When he sustains, he's called Vishnu. And when he dissolves the creation, he's called Shiva. And each one of these three aspects has a consort, a feminine part. Brahma, the creator, has Saraswati. We'll talk about Saraswati. Vishnu, the sustainer, has Mother Lakshmi as his consort. And Shiva, the destroyer, has Durga as his consort. So Durga destroys the impurities, the inner enemies in our mind in the form of lust, anger, greed, hatred, jealousy, fear, all of these, she destroys. And therefore, she's riding on a tiger, sometimes on a lion, and she has 8 arms. In each arm, she's holding a weapon, like a sword or a mace or a trident or a chakra, a discus. So 8 arms, 8 weapons, riding on a lion. And many people like the Durga mantra because they are drawn to the mother, and because they are drawn to the mother as the one who protects us from the enemies. So this is a very beautiful mantra. Lakshmi is the consort of Vishnu, and her mantra is Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha. Together. Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha. Om Shri Mahalakshmi Namaha. So her husband Vishnu sustains the creation, and she is the energy that gives abundance and prosperity to everyone. So in India, many people worship Lakshmi for material prosperity, for money, for success in business. Lakshmi is in every home, in many homes in India. But also she gives prosperity in the sense of spiritual prosperity, spiritual abundance. There is something which is called the Aishwarya, the wealth of the Lord, or Daivi Sampat, the wealth of Devi. And this wealth includes qualities like compassion, love, serenity, peace, non-attachment, courage. All the virtues that we are trying to cultivate as spiritual aspirants, if you pray to Lakshmi, she gives. So you can see the symbolism of the golden coins flowing from her hand, and also the golden vessel with the coins, and holding the lotus flowers. Very beautiful deity, Lakshmi. My name, Rukmini. Rukmini was the wife of Krishna, but she's also considered an incarnation of Lakshmi, an avatar of Lakshmi. And then the last one is Saraswati. So Lord Brahma is the creator. Saraswati is the consort of Brahma, and she is representing creativity. Everything that has to do with art, music, dance, painting, sculpture, scholarship, academic scholarship, all the creative arts are connected with Saraswati. That's why she's holding the veena in one hand, and a book, a scripture in the other hand, and the japamala in one hand. And but so many people who are into creativity, they are drawn to Saraswati. But yogis are drawn to Saraswati because she gives knowledge. What knowledge? Spiritual knowledge. And in the path of yoga, that's the most important thing. Knowledge of the self, knowledge of the Atman, knowledge of ultimate reality. Saraswati gives the knowledge. So, very beautiful deity. Did we chant? No, we didn't chant. Om Aim Saraswatye Namaha. Om Aim Saraswatye Namaha. Om Aim Saraswatye Namaha. So these are the 10 mantras for deities, saguna. The nirguna, mantra without form, are abstract, or they're also called Vedantic formulas, and they assert the identification with all creation. Some people are not drawn to personal deity, and they take the abstract mantras, which create a vibration in which the meditator identifies with the whole of the cosmos. So the most famous mantra is Om, and we'll chant it together. Om, Om, Om. Om consists of 3 letters, A, U, Ma. A-U-M. And some people, they mistakenly, they chant it Aum, like Aum, Aum. But that's not the way how to chant. The idea is that if you want to say U, and you shape your mouth, your lips, in a way like you're going to say U, but then you say A, see what happens. Let's try it. Oh. Now try without me. Yes. So what comes is Om. So you make your mouth like you're going to say U, but you say A. The sound is O. So that's why there are 3 letters, A, U, Ma, but really it's pronounced Om. And the end of after A, O, so the A starts from the base of the spine, and then when you reach here is the vibration of the U, and then it ends in the head with the nasal sound Ma. Mm. When you close your lips, and there is, after this nasal sound, there is a vibration that remains. So there are 3.5 matras. A, U, Ma, and then the vibration. And the A represent the whole physical universe. The U represent the astral universe. The Ma represent the causal universe. And the silence that is remaining after the chanting of the Om represent the transcendental reality. So Om is everything. Om is the totality of everything. Om is Saguna Brahman, God in the world, and Nirguna Brahman, the transcendental consciousness. Om is all of that. And Om, you can do japa. You can do Om, Om, Om. And your deity is not like a personal one, like Shiva or Krishna, but your deity is the totality. The totality is Ishvara, God. Everything, past, present, and future. And so if you meditate with the rosary or even without, but you do japa with Om, then your deity is God. Om, 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 Om. And you visualize the infinite pure consciousness. But Om is also a Vedantic formula that in Vedanta you contemplate. That's outside of our topic, but just to kind of give you a sense, in Vedanta you contemplate on the 3 levels of the Om. So on the macrocosmos, we said A is the physical world, U is the astral world, Ma is the causal world. But also on the microcosmos, A is your physical body, U is your astral body, and Ma is your causal body. So you experience your physical body in the wakeful state. That is represented by the A. And you experience your astral body in the dream. The dream is represented by the U. And you're in deep sleep, you experience your causal body, which is the Ma. So in Vedanta, you don't just do japa, Om, 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 Om with your mala, but you contemplate each of the letters of the mantra Om and its meaning. So it's a very powerful mantra. And the last one in our list for today is Soham, 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 Soham. means that. That with capital T, that, the Supreme. Ham means I. Aham, like aham, I. Soham, that I am. That I am. This is the meaning of the mantra Soham, that I am. That pure consciousness, Brahman, the Supreme Being, the totality that transcends everything, I am. So it's a Vedantic mantra that asserts the identity of the individual soul with the Supreme Being. That I am. And there is one song in our Kirtan book. I and my father are one, said he, Soham, Soham. I and my father are one, said he, Soham, Soham. So, quote from the New Testament, Lord Jesus said, I and my father are one. And then in Vedanta, Soham, that I am. But there is something special about this mantra, that when you combine it with the breath, all mantras you combine with the breath, but with this one is very special, because the yogis say that there is an inner sound that in your body, each time you inhale, there is an inner sound so. And each time you exhale, there is an inner sound hum. So what is so special is that whether you know it or not, all of us repeat this mantra all day long, internally, inside, because we breathe. Each inhalation is so, each exhalation is hum. So the scriptures say we breathe 21,600 times daily. 21,600 breaths every day. So each one of you repeat this mantra 21,600 times daily. But if you choose this mantra as your personal mantra, the way how to meditate is to mentally inhale and mentally repeat so, and exhale, mentally repeat hum. Let's try it for a moment. Inhale so, exhale hum. So now these are the 12 mantras, and I know some of you already made your choice for your personal mantra. If you didn't, now you know how to choose, now you know. And then if you take mantra initiation one time and when you're in the ashram, it's very good. And then this is, we mentioned the Japamala. It's highly recommended by Swami Sivananda and Swami Vishnu Devananda. The way how you use it, we said you roll towards your heart with your thumb and your middle finger, and you don't cross the marrow. There are all kind of beads that you can select for your japa. We mentioned the sandalwood for Krishna and Divine Mother. We mentioned the Rudraksha for Shiva, the Tulsi for Vishnu, Rama, and Krishna, and the pearl and the crystal for the Divine Mother. Also, it's good to have a good meditation cushion for your practice, a shawl, because ideally when you practice with your mala, it's not supposed to be something that you show. It's more intimate. So we have this mala bag and a shawl to cover yourself. The mala bag is very helpful. Nowadays, the digital counters are very helpful also. And a woolen blanket was recommended by Swami Vishnu because it insulates the practitioner from the magnetic forces of the earth. So the prana, instead of being depleted from the body to go to the earth, it remains circulating in the body. So in the past, they used the 3 layers, which are mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita, a skin, a kusha grass, a special grass from India, a deer skin or a tiger skin, and a cloth. But nowadays, we don't do skin or kusha grass, so a woolen blanket creates the same effect of insulation. And the wrist mala, the one with 27 beads, is helpful when you walk in the beach or when you are walking in the park or just whatever you can. It has 27 beads, and so when you finish 4 rounds, you finished 1 mala. And also what you can do with japa is likita japa, which is sitting with your notebook and writing your mantra. While writing the mantra, you repeat it mentally in your mind and you concentrate, just like in your meditation. Swami Sivananda is highly, highly recommending this. Every day, sit for even just 5 minutes and write your mantra. And of course, the Om Namo Narayanaya, Swami Vishnu requested everyone to write many pages and mail to him, and he would take it every year to Gangotri, to his cave, and he created a mantra bank, and he deposited those papers to generate the vibration of peace in the world. So the idea is that japa you can do not only when you come to satsang on your cushion and you meditate with your mala, but all day long. When you walk, when you're doing your cooking, you wash the dishes, you can do your mala, your japa. And that's the end. Om Tat Sat. So thank you very much for participating in this workshop and the previous ones. I hope you got a little taste of bhakti and how to practice it. Japa, kirtan, stories, puja, and more. Now we will conclude. Om, Om, Om. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace. Om Bolo Sadguru Sivananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Bolo Swami Vishnu Devananda Maharaj Ki Jai. Om Namah Shivaya. So at 2 o'clock we have another workshop here with Swami Paramananda on how to make your New Year resolutions. Very important. And then at 4, yoga class, 5:50 dinner, and in the evening satsang we have our Buddhist Lama speaking on compassion, kindness, and awakening. Om Tat Sat.